Hey everyone, so of course the one, the only, Gary Cardone, thank you very much
Luke,
for
good to
joining
finally
us.
meet you.
Yes, I know.
Awesome.
I think we've been watching each other's content online for a little bit, so it's nice to finally be here in person. Great to meet you. So you and your brother are both very popular online for being finance, real estate, money, mindset. You know, the 10x syndication, Bitcoin, everything. So what is your journey when it comes to business in general for the people that don't know about your business background before Bitcoin? And then at what point did Bitcoin come into that scene?
Well, so first off, my brother and I don't do any business together whatsoever. We have never have. I mean, I invest in some stuff with him on the real estate side. I don't do any real estate at all. I find real estate extremely boring. So he and I just took really different paths, and we have the same name and we look alike. I don't know what's in the DNA, but like our paths are so different. I think we just were probably both pretty insecure, and we're like, okay, got to go make some money. But my background is in economics and marketing, and I happened to get a job in the energy business when I was 21, and it was going through wholesale change where the government came in and said, look, we're tired of all these. This should sound familiar. We're tired of all these oil companies and the refineries having this little club thing where, you know, there's no competition. And I really believe that if you let competition work and capitalism work, which means all players should have access to a market if they have equal credit and equal capabilities, they should be able to access the market. We opened up a market in natural gas and electricity. These are the freest markets in the world today. It took 20 years to do it, but we have now an energy market that's 118 billion units a day. When I started, it was 8. Okay, and it was 8 on massively long-term contracts. Natural gas has moved from $7 to $2 in 25 years. Why? Because competition's working. Okay, and technology, you know, when did fracking happen? Fracking happened at $30 a barrel. It did not happen at $100 a barrel. Nothing happens at $100. There is no technological innovation at high prices. It's always on low prices. And so now we have the most rich, dense energy sources in the world built on 30-day contracts. So I think this is where Bitcoin will also go to, as a pure commodity. If we can transform Europe and America and Canada into trading energy, which is determines whether we're a first, second, or third world nation. Like, most certainly credit cards should be commoditized. Visa, MasterCard should not be in the position they're in. And this Bitcoin crypto thing, this is so natural of a progression from where we're headed as far as technology.
Right.
So we're moving from an analog world to a digital world. And it's speeding up now.
Right.
So your phone has 30,000 files on it.
Yeah.
Right? And one day, I think in 2 years, you're not even going to have the phone. It's going to be something else.
Yeah.
Maybe a watch or whatever, but it's going to be some glasses, some cool looking glasses. And I find it very interesting that the younger part of this industry isn't seeing this as clearly as I am. I'm looking at it going, this is most certainly happening, period, not even a question.
Yes.
And younger people are like, no, dude, this is, like, I have more conviction than most of you guys.
Right.
It's really amazing to me.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I've seen other restructures.
Yeah.
And this most certainly will restructure. And this is what I like the node 40 business, because it actually makes Bitcoin safe. Like, it removes the noise, the chaos, the confusion.
Right.
Over crypto, right? It really, because I think what it does, it places it in a language that you're not required to understand anything about blockchain. It's just in accounting.
Yeah.
It's an audit. Have you ever seen anybody do a quality of earnings on their trading? People look at me, quality of earnings, you're moving $20 million a year? That's a business. There are quality earnings reports you can do. I can hit a button on Node 40, do a quality of earnings. Where did this guy make all his money? Oh, wow, he made all that money on staking. And all this transactions over here, he didn't make any money on this. Maybe he needed to do that because he was trading and he needed to know it for over here. But for a CFO, a president, an operations officer to be able to look at a report and not talk to a trader, you go, I know exactly what he did. He traded 1,000 units of Solana. He traded 1,200 units of Bitcoin. These are the prices. I put it in my report. I'm good to go. Saturday, Sunday, whenever, right? It's just about getting perfect. Like, the analogy I use is, hey, this is a Ferrari you're driving. Bitcoin is a Ferrari or a rocket. As long as it's going 1 mile an hour, you don't need any of this shit. But as soon as you go 50, you better have a dashboard. Right. And as soon as the cop stops you, you better have a report. Your printout. Sure, I never speeded. This is a 300 Bitcoin average price. This is what it did. This is where I moved it. I have had forensics people look at me and go, hey, you owe 800 grand to the U.S. government. I'm like, what for, dude? Well, you move all these coins from Coinbase to Coinbase Pro. It's not a tax event. They see a movement for the tax event. That's a movement. It's a liquidation event.
Yeah. So even if the government's wrong, you still have to have the people protecting you in case they just demand it.
You have to answer these questions.
Right.
The government doesn't have to be right.
Yes.
We are auditing you.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say? Here's the data, dude.
Yeah.
You want to send them back a report 12 hours later? Here's my data, dude. I don't.
Yeah.
And if you have the data, it's coming right off the blockchain, dude. And it's a third party.
Right.
You don't want to do this yourself. Do not do this yourself. If you're managing $1 million worth of Bitcoin, you want a third party to go, dude, I had a professional do this. In my spreadsheet, my wife did. It's not $100 software. You're not going to defend yourself in a court with $100 software.
Right.
Come, it's ridiculous. And those guys can't handle me, man. I'm too big. Right? They weren't built. They were built for $2,000 for residential kind of small consumer.
Right.
We need institutional players in here smashing 50 million, dude.
Right.
Like my brother's gonna, when he finally gets balls, grows some balls, and understands what's happening, he will ape in for 2,500 fucking Bitcoin. That'll be the small purchase. 150 million, bang, and he won't even move the market. When he realizes he can't move the market. Everybody thinks you can move Bitcoin. You can't move Bitcoin.
Not even Germany can move Bitcoin. Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Right.
By the way, that is my story with Mr. Trump Saturday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's your story with him?
Sir, we don't need to do what Germany did. Look at what these fools just did. Right. They sold $54,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And the reason they did is they can't print money anymore. Right. We, on the other hand, still have the ability to print.
Right, definitely.
They would have had to go to the EU and ask for permission. Okay, so America does not need to dump 200,000 coins, and I think Donald Trump will understand quite easily, oh, well, I can issue a $200 million coin for 3 cents. That's all it costs to make $100 piece of currency. You can make a $1,000 bill, a $10,000 bill, $1 million bill, 3 cents. About $200 million worth of 200,000 Bitcoin for 3 pennies. Donald Trump and the entire economic administration will look at that and go, we're not selling. Not for fiat. Why would you sell Bitcoin for fiat?
Right.
We already have. Yeah. We already have plenty of it. We can grow some tomorrow morning.
Right.
Come on. He's going to understand.
Yeah.
Then you ask him, well, sir, how many donations have you got this year? 800 million, dude. We're cracking it. How many of those donations came in with wire transfers? Because the money I just sent you, $1 million, you literally had use of it in 2 minutes.
Right.
When he does not know that. Because we sell Bitcoin wrong. The way this industry sells Bitcoin is horrific. It's so stupid. It's not, you're not thinking about the user. And to me, it's just such a natural progression for, especially like an energy player, to look at Bitcoin one day and go, oh, well, I'm already not actually monetizing most of my energy.
Yeah.
20 to 30% of an oil company's energy is never monetized in that year when it was available to be monetized. Well, if you're only monetizing 80% of what you're producing, why wouldn't you take the other 20 and monetize it into another asset?
Yeah.
And by the way, they know how to hold commodities on their balance sheet. They already hold oil, electricity, crude oil, natural gas, resids, liquids, condensates.
Yeah.
Adding Bitcoin, nothing.
One more thing, and Bitcoin, unlike all the other ones, Bitcoin goes up the fastest. So why not get it as soon as possible? So I know, as you said a moment ago, you just donated $1 million to Donald Trump. So whatever that is, 13, 14 coins or whatever.
12.82.
12.82 Bitcoin. Okay, there you go. So I think
my primary job in life today is to replace 12.82 Bitcoin.
Okay.
It is literally, oh, dude, for sure.
Yep.
Like, he created a problem for me. Now, I actually believe, and I would encourage anyone holding Bitcoin, whether it's a lot or a little, think about taking some of that or some of the fiat you have. Why am I doing this? I am buying a seat at the table. Okay, and I say that with transparent. I'm very ethical about it. I just want a seat at the table. I want to be able to help talk about how to restructure or structure this so that the United States remains the greatest country in the world. Okay, like, first, if America does not participate with this, Bitcoin will not give up. We're only 12% of the market. You're not going to control this. You may lead it, America. You may be the pusher of this, but you're not going to control it, and you're not going to stop it. Like, it doesn't really. I do think America has an opportunity to like lead the way, though, and shape. If we can shape the way we report, the way we touch it, the way the tax, there's a way to address taxation on crypto that does not harm anyone, and it's just not being. Look, we've done this with energy. Okay?
Yeah.
Like this is not that hard. You have to get all the stakeholders in a room. And the stakeholders need to know this market is happening. And what the message really should be to me, and the city banks of the world will get this, look, this is a market. It's going to be a very big market. Everyone should have the same equal access to this market. And you shouldn't treat one player different than the other. So that means that you can't do favors for one player. We shouldn't be picking winners and losers. Let the market work. And as long as we have guideposts on taxation, how to harvest, we had a 650-page document from Treasury. No one's read it. These are very complicated matters. And the market's not going to grow without this. And if it does grow, it's going to go in fits and starts. And I will be audited for the rest of my life, every year. I have too much Bitcoin. And I want this audit to cost me less than 20 or 30 grand. And if I have to pay somebody 5 or 10 grand for software to make sure that the other side is like neutered, that's really what you're doing, right?
Right.
Neuter the other guy from any questions.
Right.
If you can stop the questions, you stop the letters.
Yeah.
Right? And most people, if you haven't been through litigation, you don't realize, oh, wow, I have to. Like, I know somebody right now that's spending $500,000 a month with lawyers, and they don't even know why. They can't get off the spend. The reason why, I'm an ex-partner of theirs. The crazy bitch will never just answer the question to finality. There's always a little thread that's left. And guess what they did? Let's go pull on that thread.
Yeah, let's
and then there's another $500,000.
More hours, more fees, more money.
$6 million, dude. $6 million in fees, and they're not winning.
Yeah,
the lawyers are winning.
Yeah,
and they're going to ask these questions. They will continue to ask questions. You just got to be specific. When you can be, why wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah. I think this is a really important topic. You, me, Peter Dumworth, and Jeff, one of the best.
Love Dumworth.
Yeah, one of the best lawyers in the country too. It was a pretty good dinner. I know you were at the table, but we talked a lot about this: litigation, divorce, tax planning, all these things. And I think many Bitcoiners, rightfully so, are concerned about many of the right things: self-custody, holding their own keys, making sure that they're not over-leveraging themselves, all those things on the financial side. But as everything you're describing, I think Bitcoiners in general are completely missing the other factor that there's less than 5 million Satoshis per millionaire on the planet. So if someone has zero point 0.4 Bitcoin or 400 Bitcoin or 40 Bitcoin or 4 Bitcoin, whatever it is, like if someone watching this has 10, 100, or 10,000 times as much Bitcoin as the average millionaire has, what do you think those big risks are when it comes to litigation, divorce? And I really like the point you made at dinner last night about how it's the letter. That's the problem.
It's the letter, man.
Yeah.
And you can't stop the letter. There's nothing you can do. Yeah. You can put a rubber on, but the letter's coming, man.
Yeah.
And people, if you've never had the letter, you don't know. But I'm telling you, you have no option. Like, there is no option. You have a deposition. Like, I have to go do a deposition on Tuesday on something. There is no, hey, Gary, I don't want to fucking go. And by the way, I have to spend 5 hours with a $1,700 an hour lawyer the day before. So I blow all of Monday, half of Monday.
Yeah.
Now I'm not even worried about this stuff. I'm so transparent, like nobody can touch me.
Right.
Which is why I'm begging you guys. Transparency is brilliant. There's no one that can hurt me.
Yeah.
They can open every closet. There isn't anything to find.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no tax problems. There's no lawsuits. I didn't steal money from anybody. I'm not hiding any coins. Come on in, dude. Right. I'm not selling, so I ain't paying any taxes on it. Right. I am not selling my Bitcoin. Until
you might donate it to Trump.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I did. And why did I do that? I did it to invest in the future. Right. And to me, a guy, me, or somebody bumps to me. I did not give Donald Trump $1 million directly from Gary Cardone.
Yeah.
I gave him $1 million. I gave Vivek $100,000, Anna Luna Paluna $50,000, and Dennis Porter $50,000, and Trump 844,600, 12.8 Bitcoin. Why? Because I think they're going to take me a little bit more shares. Now, and I did it through Bitcoin because my message is, hey, dude, this is an industry that's really important to me, and it should be important to him and every. The other thing I'm going to be able to do is, because I believe that Bitcoin is the most simple concept to understand in the world. And all I hear from everybody in Bitcoin is, man, Bitcoin's really hard to understand. Bitcoin is not hard to understand. Economics 101. The supply exceeds demand, prices fall. When demand exceeds supply, prices go up. Every business I've gone into, that is the only principle I care about. Supply and demand. If you're right and we're trading Satoshis, you think it's complicated right now? We're talking about trillions of transactions. For me, I look at this industry and go, damn, man, this is maybe one of the greatest opportunities in life to be able to use Bitcoin to explain to most everyone on the planet that the real message here is that Bitcoin is not complicated. What's complicated is that we do not know what we're doing with money before Bitcoin. Right. There are people literally signing contracts. They have no clue what they say. You do not understand your mortgage agreement. You do not understand your banking agreement. You didn't read it. You did not read your savings document. Americans, and most all humans, have never read any of these agreements. And now when you're going to pay self-custody, well, I got to read something. I hear people talking about, I'm so scared to copy and paste. Well, dude, I did $3.5 million on Saturday afternoon to buy a Node 40. I did Trump. These are not hard to do. 2 minutes. Like, I'm getting ready to get on a plane. Bang, smash them out 900 G's, dude. It was so easy until you do this. Now, doing this with popcorn and potato chips, I think that is a heinous sin against Bitcoin. Heinous. You should go to confession. and sit on your knees for like 1,000 years, dude. Like seriously, okay? Scraping my yard with a toothbrush because like it's crazy to spend Bitcoin and use it and not get a premium relative to fiat. At least give me a 20% discount because I plan on taking my Bitcoins. Like I'm actually working on this idea and call every real estate player in the planet and say, hey, 11:58 at night, just know that I can transact. Okay, 2 minutes before you breach all your contract covenants, Mr. Banker, call me up. I'm here to do a deal. $300 million piece of real estate. Oh, wow, you're trying to collect 120 on it? Cool, dude, I'll give you 120 at 11:58. So you don't go into default. Money, go into default. This is what Bitcoin should be used for. For the, hey, I am the best money in the world, and I'm going to get the best fucking deal because of it. Right? Why would you not get a premium for Bitcoin?
Right.
If it's so superior. So I've listened to all you guys. I bought the story, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it going, well, why are you selling Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Now with Trump, for me, I made the point, hey, I want to be able to ask him a question. Well, you want a wire or you want Bitcoin? And he won't know. And I'm not trying to do a aha, I got you. What I'm trying to show him is, dude, it's 3 days advantage. He understands what 3 days on $1 million. His team will most certainly. Sarah Weil, I mean, she's going to be like, yeah, we like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
When you start using it.
Yeah. In 3 days, only more and more means more. I mean, just the last 2 weeks with all the stuff going on. I mean, as we get more and more instant and chaotic world, that finality.
If you were in Europe and you wanted to move some currency on 2 weeks ago, like, good luck on that. Right? This is an insurance package. To me, Bitcoin is a massive insurance policy. Node 40, that business, is an insurance program on top of Bitcoin.
Right.
And that is like literally the way I look at it. I insure my car. Okay? I insure my car and I insure my house with good insurance, by the way. I do not insure a $10 million car with $100 software.
Yeah.
Like I go get institutional grade software that other institutions are going to use. Because you're going to want to walk into your account and go, dude, this is professional shit. Right? This is next level.
Yeah. So you mentioned that a few times. I'd love to expand that a little bit more. You said you love Peter Dunworth, as I do too.
Yeah.
You keep mentioning the $100 software, the $5,000 software, whatever. A lot of people, I think, come from the current mindset that people have where the cheapest thing I can do is get the policy that is the lowest cost, right? But it sounds like that what you're saying is
the policy that's the lowest cost.
Yeah. That most people think that the way to have the cheapest protection against litigation, divorce, and all the things we're talking about, all those risks, is to get the cheapest solution possible. But what you're saying is that actually the more affordable way is to pay more, get the higher quality one, and then that is what's actually going to protect you for the long term and have you avoid those costs.
Let's think about it. Okay. Who is this? Who are we protecting ourselves against? We're protecting ourselves against either a draconian overreach. If Bitcoin's worth $1 million, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a little overreach. You can't say it's going to be worth $1 million and then go, well, gosh, I'm going to have that little insurance policy for $50. My insurance changes. As my wealth goes up, guess what? I pay more for insurance.
Right.
Or I just self-insure.
Right.
I get so big up, I'm self-insuring. I think there's a point where your assets get big enough where you go, okay, I need to man up. I need to man up. I don't need a $300 lawyer anymore. I want the $1,700 lawyer. I want the $1,700 lawyer to send a signal to the other guy going, dude, I'm serious. Like I get very little shit online because if you say something about me being a fraud, I will slaughter you. Like I am not into getting my credibility. I have spent my entire life being like really honest. And when you start saying shit that, like some of the stuff they say online, dude, I sure hope you have a $2,000 lawyer because I do. And this is going to be so expensive for you.
The process is the punishment.
The process is the punishment.
Right.
And I put my $2,000 lawyer up against your $200 lawyer. Dude, he's going to be like, dude, you don't want to do this. Because I'll outspend you. I'll outspend you forever. So why am I saying all that? The IRS has no responsibility. They have no budget. They'll just keep sending letters. They don't have. I spent $7 million defending a lawsuit by the FTC, complete bull lawsuit that I'm actually probably going to use the Chevron deference to go back and go, this is exactly what the Chevron deference is overturned for. This behavior right here, a three-letter agency using their own internal tools to tell a guy he's $7 million, dude. $7 million in legal fees. 2.5 years it took me. They said, we want $100,000 from you. You've been such a naughty boy. $100,000. Spent $7 million. Okay, so it is the punishment.
Right.
And most people can't make it through.
Right. And most people have
custodian bond. Caitlin's like, I have to make a decision here. Do I burn my Bitcoin to save my company? They are bearing with fees, and they'll just do it to her forever. And so to me, you have to got like, this is a multi-trillion dollar opportunity. Yeah. And I see people fucking it up by cutting edges.
Right.
And it's silly.
It seems like most people are buying Bitcoin at 60,000 in their mind, pricing it at 200,000, but forgetting that.
Treating it like 600.
Right.
Roger Ver. Like, I'm not trying to be mean on Roger Ver. Roger, dude, seriously, you're in trouble. Guys, they grabbed him out of Spain. Over 50 million. First, he fucked up because he underestimated how big the Bitcoin industry was going to be. Two, how would you do your reporting that way? Yeah. Like if you were really treating this properly. So we have so many cool lessons to learn from some of the mistakes. Don't lose your wallet. Okay? Don't lose Bitcoin. Pay the right price for Bitcoin. Treat it, even if you bought it at 300, treat it based on what you think it's going to be worth. Right. Because you're telling me you're not going to sell it. So if you're never going to sell it, gosh, you must think it. Treat it like it's the beautiful redhead, that 30-year-old woman that you like. She's never going to get old, dude. She doesn't mind if you grab a little bit of her to sell her off. Okay, that's Bitcoin, dude. Can't copy it, can't mutate it. She doesn't care if you rent some, lease some, move it around. She's fast. She wakes up anytime. She never gets old. There's no corruption, no corrosion. If that was a woman, you'd be asking her to get married tomorrow morning, and you'd put an insurance policy on her. You would be like, oh my God, I found mom.
You wouldn't pay $200 a year for the prenup.
You wouldn't treat her like a piece of shit. Let me go buy a little e-software package and do my little, you're going to treat her properly, right? So to me, this is the way to look at it.
So as you probably know, as we talked about dinner last night, I fell in love with what Peter was doing at Bitcoin Advisor. I was the first American Bitcoin advisor, which I'm super proud about.
You should be.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that because now
they don't like just let everybody in their camp.
Yeah, right. So what do you like about Peter? What do you like about the Bitcoin Advisor? What do you think they're doing right? What do you think is yet to be seen down the line, regulation, and everything else that's coming?
Well, I don't really look at companies because companies have no spirit. They're just LLCs or an incorporation. The people, for me, are it's really the piece for me. Contrary to public opinion, I'm not really a very extroverted person. I think my brother probably is more extroverted than me. I'm not really that extroverted, but I love people on a one-on-one. When I first talked to Peter, I spent 14 years in Europe, so like I have a little bit more of a perspective that he may have from the European angle. I love smart people. I love smart people. I actually like people that are much, much smarter than me. And I have never met an industry that has so many very impressive smart people. So for me, that's really the draw. And quite frankly, it's what has me probably at a very high quotient of conviction, because I don't look at Bitcoin's price. I look at the people like you that are coming into Bitcoin. More importantly, I look at the people like the guy I met from Citibank last night and his 5 team. And then, oh wow, Deloitte's got 2,000. And Peter Dunmore's sitting over here. He could be doing anything he freaking wants. And he's doing this. And if you notice, the people that come in here, we don't just kind of come in here. It's either you're coming in deep and heavy, or you're doing it like my brother. I go, just slapping on top of the water, talking about it, doing nothing. Not really, doing nothing, right? Because if you notice the people that are in this, most of our backs were against the wall or getting ready to be. I mean, almost to the one. Dan Tapiro, all of them, dude. Tim Draper, they're all looking going, dude, this is getting hard. Even BlackRock. BlackRock's not an insider. But he keeps talking about BlackRock's in it. Dude, he's an outsider. He's going to build a digital equities trading center in Texas and compete straight up with Wall Street. He will take Wall Street's head off. Okay, if they let him. So he'll go after anybody. They are not our enemy. Like, I keep hearing all this, oh man, it's the end of the world. Dude, you either have adoption with every major institution, every government is, or you don't have adoption. It means governments get to buy it, you get to buy it, I get to buy it, Russia gets to buy it, and BlackRock gets to buy it, the Holy Catholic Church gets to buy it, a pedophile gets to buy it. Like,
yeah,
this is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's for enemies.
Bitcoin's for everyone. Didn't y'all teach me that?
Yeah.
Like, I am a really good student. You guys have taught me really well. But we do have to, and I think I'm a solutioner, because I think there's a misunderstanding of how you get this to roll out and without shooting your legs off.
Right.
And I think, quite frankly, we did not need to be here. Like, I've been saying for 5 years, hey, if you don't regulate, dude, self-regulate or get outside regulation. And here we are. And the ETFs came on the back of us not doing any internal regulatory process. And they're not going away. And I don't care how much you old guys hate them. They're here because you Like, you literally open the door to them.
Right. At what point do you think it's too late for the average person, right? I mean, if everyone watching this right now is the first 1 in 500, the 1 in 1,000 person in the world who got Bitcoin, obviously they're going to get the top. If you're going to be the top 1% Bitcoin holder, you're going to be the top 1% of lawsuits, litigations, and everything else thrown at you, right? And so at what point do you think people should start considering these things? At a certain dollar amount, at a certain percentage allocation amount, at a certain emotional threshold amount? Like, at what point should people watching this start taking seriously that they're going to be in the top 1% and protect these things?
Well, I think if you own $100 to $250,000 worth of Bitcoin and you're going to hold it, why you would sell it, I'm not sure, but I think you've entered the realm of, hey, you want to protect this asset now. Now, I think it depends on you, like how seriously you're taking this. And if you're 35, you're going to probably do it like I did, which is, hey, I'm not hiring any expensives. I'll do it myself. But you should be thinking about, what are you going to do when you're 55? And this is, if you see the older guys like me, we're very thoughtful about this. Like, I don't care. I got to spend 20 grand on that? No problem. 20,000 keeps me out of trouble. I value my time. So I don't want to spend any time with auditors and lawyers. I want to spend time with you. I'm not going to make any money with auditors and lawyers. Not a penny. Okay? So I should be spending time on my core business, not defending something 10 years ago. So the cool thing about Bitcoin is, all you got to do is look at a 15-year chart, remove 4 years, 11, 10-year chart, and go, it's going to keep going up forever. Okay, protect it.
Yeah.
If you're 20 years old and you own 1 Bitcoin, assume that's going to be worth 10x. It's $600,000, dude. Yeah. So why wouldn't you want to take care of that right now?
That's the funny thing. I was thinking of in my head is that you were talking about 100 grand to $250,000 is where we start getting that territory. But if we value Bitcoin like it's worth 10x what it's already worth today, then all of a sudden the threshold just gets lower and lower. And then when it does do the 10x, everybody's going to want this at once.
Why do you think all the banks made these ETF fees so cheap? Because they were making the ETF fees so cheap on $30,000 Bitcoin. Now that ETF value has just doubled. I can assure you, BlackRock would rather see a $300,000 Bitcoin at 0.1 than they do a $30,000 Bitcoin at 0.1. You just got to align incentives, okay? Dude, they're going to tokenize the planet, okay? That means my thesis that we're digitizing planet Earth, that is what it means. Tokenize everything. Become a rental economy. Look at this room. They do not own this space, do they?
Yeah.
They rented it, man. They came in, rented it for a week, and it makes total sense. We're utilizing it better than it was being utilized. Yeah. And we're not labored with a bunch of brick, carrying bricks all over our backs, having to come clean it up, cover it with air conditioning. We are going to move to a rental market.
You own the Bitcoin, you rent everything else.
Totally.
Yeah. And I know
totally, dude. Totally.
With your house, with your mansion, I know that you've made many videos about your house and converting that to Bitcoin. And that.
Well, the reason I do that is because so many people are confused over house ownership. They have been lied to for so long, including my brother. Right? He does not understand that he is not a genius on real estate. He is a genius on real estate because they constantly inflate relative to the destruction of the dollar. It's the only reason real estate goes up. And you get to borrow 3 times the money. In my case, I got to borrow 5 times. So I go in to buy $10 million worth of property, and they give me $14 million. That was in like kind of free money stage. So Bitcoin, Grant and I were buying apartment doors. When you go buy 1,000 units of apartments, you look at them as doors. There's 1,000 doors, and I only ask one question: how much does each door cost? We're buying these doors at $35,000 to $40,000 a door. Now they're $400. That's 15 years ago, right? And I found it really amazing. What does a franchise at Popeye's Fried Chicken cost? About $3 million.
Yeah, $2 million.
I can buy the greatest franchise and the greatest piece of real estate in the world that has location, location, location. I have no human error in this franchise. I have 50 million people that are promoting this franchise. I don't pay taxes on this franchise. I don't have a building on this franchise. I don't have to air condition the franchise. I have no psychosis in this franchise. And everybody I ever meet is like, I want to be like you, Gary. I want to build and run businesses. I'm like, then buy Bitcoin. It's the easiest private equity play in the history of mankind, and you have no human error risk. You want to own your own business? Good. You don't have to feed it with operating expenses. You don't have, all you have to do is file your taxes every year and keep a report.
Right.
And if you didn't sell any Bitcoin, you don't even need, just file your taxes, provide the report, and move down the road.
Yeah. Well,
I think that is the way people should look at this. If you can buy Popeye's Fried Chicken for $2.5 million, and you have all this risk, insurance, people break the windows, people show up and piss in the Popeye's Fried Chicken, and then you get a lawsuit. Lawsuits from the employees, lawsuits from the consumer. You have to upgrade the property. It's endless, man.
Yeah.
I could buy 4 Bitcoin for the same amount. I could probably buy 8 Bitcoin for the same amount of buying Popeye's Fried Chicken. And by the way, that Popeye's Fried Chicken, you have to fuel forever.
Right.
You have to keep making the payments. That's, to me, the way people should look at it. That's why Peter, I meet guys like Peter, we're just both like, oh my God, look what's happening. You know, because we can see what's happening. I mean, it's so clear that all we can't see is what time window is it going to happen. Is it next year, following year? It's going to happen.
Right, definitely. What element do you think having keys in different jurisdictions is a component of that? I think you said something really interesting earlier, or last night, about how even with the Popeyes example, you know, with Bitcoin, if you're going to have that business as you're describing, or that private equity, it's so much more simple for regulators, so much more simple for these kinds of lawsuits, right? Instead of 1,000 pages of paperwork, you have 1 page or 1 paragraph outlining everything. And since you paid the right person to make that airtight, there's no more threads to pull.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. So what?
Stop the questions.
Yeah.
If you can stop the questions, you stop the letters.
Right. You can stop the punishment of the process. Yeah, definitely.
That's exactly right. And if you talk to any of these guys, like these guys that know how to play the game, that is the game.
Right. One last question I have for you is, so when the 21 million is fully mined or fully distributed or whatever, right now we're still in this period of history. I think you made a very accurate point about my phone earlier on, about how this is a temporary technology. Like, this is going away. This phone is going away, even though this is one of the new ones or whatever.
Most certainly.
Right. And so likewise with Bitcoin, I often wonder and think about how this early period of Bitcoin adoption, like, we're in this weird period where many people can increase their stats. And I wonder if in the far future, when all the Bitcoin's distributed and everyone understands Bitcoin like you and I do, if then we're going to be in a new era, like let's say the post-iPhone era, where the new game is not who can stack more Bitcoin than everyone else, but who can have their stack shrink less than other people, right? Do you think that's going to happen at one point? And when do you think that pivot is going to begin? And the new game becomes who's going to lose less Bitcoin this year, not who's going to stack more Bitcoin this year.
I think because humans age and our requirements for living change, that's why I keep saying that everybody's a seller. If you tell me you're not a seller ever, I'm pretty sure you're going to sell on that $30,000 down day. Because people forget, the guy holding Bitcoin that invested in Bitcoin originally then gets married. I mean, Robert Breedlove's now in love, so he's going to get married. And one day she's going to want something. This is what, if they have kids, they got to go to private school. There's a time when people are going to sell Bitcoin. So I wouldn't look at it as who's going to win or lose. To me, this is not a finite game. Everybody can win. To me, this is really what we got to. The old game was, hey, it's just net sum zero. There's a winner and a loser. And I'm not sure it has to be that. Like my brother, everybody asks me about my brother coming to Bitcoin. He can come into Bitcoin whenever the he wants. I'm not going to press the guy. In fact, I'm not going to even encourage the guy to hurry. I don't want him here. Okay? There's 2,516 billionaires on this planet. There's 406,000 ultra wealthy people that are 30 million or more. If 200 billionaires tomorrow morning go, I'm going to do $1 billion each. Michael Saylor going, hey, what happens if 10 billionaires buys $1 billion each? I'm like, what happens if 200? If 10 do it, 200. That's 10%. Less than 10%, which it's 8%, which I think is the most senior number of any adoption whatsoever on this planet of Bitcoin. I think it's less than 1%. I think it's so tiny.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
I agree.
Okay? Like, I have more Bitcoin than more ultra wealthy people. Like, a lot more. And they're going to walk in here and go, I need $100 million. And we're 2 weeks away from seeing all these S13s from Q2. I think the names are going to stun us. And this is what you talk to some of these more indigenous legacy players, they're all waiting for these names. And these names, when you hear IBM and state of Texas, not just Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin, $151 million of Bitcoin
in their pension. Yep.
On the first release of the ETF. That's amazing. Wow, they're moving quick for pension. The two is less than 0.5%. Okay, 150 million. They will never rebalance. Bitcoin could triple. Their allocation goes to 1.2. I'm gonna sell, man. Everybody's talking about these big old boys rebalancing. No, there's tiny allocations. What people have been worried about the allocation, not conceding. It's 150 million, man. First wedge. Not the second wedge, it's the first wedge. This is the state of Wisconsin. 400,000 people will own $25 million worth of Bitcoin. That's $10 trillion.
Yep.
It's a $10 trillion Bitcoin market cap without the ETF. Okay, I'm talking about self-custody. I'm talking about 200 billionaires going, I need $1 billion worth of shit. Because we just had a president shot in the face. Okay? Still lying about it. We have a Secret Service that failed. We have an entire government that's failing. Either failing or cheating. Both scenarios, Bitcoin's good. I don't know that real estate, that I could say with real estate, hey, it doesn't matter if the Dems or the Republicans get in. You know, my real estate position or private equity is going to be, it's all the same. With Bitcoin, nobody cares who's getting in office. Trump, the other lady or whoever it's going to be, Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin will perform better under Trump, but we don't really care, which I think is awesome. Unbelievably awesome. Wow, I cannot say that about real estate. I can't say that about the other businesses never seen an opportunity like it. It's unbelievable. And I've owned gold, silver. I still own silver. Pain in the ass to move. 27,000 ounces, dude.
That's the one thing more difficult than a wire.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really tough. I still think there's value. I mean, I'm starting to hear some serious Bitcoin holders go, hey, I have to have gold. Like I'm seeing people look at gold and go, you know, if the lights go out, gold's still a monster. It's a beast. Yep. Gold, gun, and food and water, right?
Right.
This is a really, to me, it's a wonderful time to be in the space. I don't think we're late. And I most certainly don't think we're too early. I think actually people probably came in here before 20. It's been a long ride.
Yeah.
It's like a long ride. I got in a little bit before Sailor, and then, but not with volume. The first time I heard Sailor, I'm like, dude, I totally got it. I'm like, oh my God, this is the most certainly going to happen. I think I literally watched 2 hours of it. I've never watched it again because I don't need to. Done deal.
Do you think most of those 400,000 people with over $30 million are going to be like that, where they're going to listen to 2 hours of Larry Fink, 2 hours of Sailor, and then get it? No? What do you think is going to be the catalyst to help them out? Pain. Does that pain come from Bitcoin number go up when they see their Bitcoin denominator worth collapse, or does that pain come from elsewhere? Censorship, something else?
Eroding margins, expanding work and energy required for an eroding margin, more taxation, more friction, just productivity, right? It just becomes so hard. And look, why did Sailor do this? Sailor, this is not just about money. It's also about competition. We have a world now where Google, Facebook, and other Palo Alto companies, I mean, they'll hire people at ridiculous valuations. It distorts the entire employee market. So smaller companies like mine can't afford it. I got to pay $250,000 for an IT guy. Now, the cool thing is AI is going to really minimize the power of monopoly. It's really going to shatter this. And I think this is where Bitcoin becomes really important. AI and Bitcoin are really, really important. Like, I think within the year, I will be able to hire a robot to be my assistant. I've gone through 3 assistants now. I'm not a hard guy to work with. People are stupid now. They're lazy. They're stupid. They're not paying attention to details. I don't know where their head's at. Maybe it's too difficult to make 60 grand a year and make ends meet. Maybe that's it.
Or probably more work for the smaller merchants, right? On that small scale.
But like, I don't underpay people. Okay, but at some point, when you realize, hey, I'm having to respond to 6 emails to get something done. Hey, I need a hamburger for lunch. Well, what kind of hamburger? Like, I won't let anybody do emails to me. You can't send me an email. I'm tired of emails. I would like a water, please. What type of water? Oh, cold water. Filter or sparkling? Would you like that in a cup? I'm like, fuck off, dude. I'll just go get it myself. Right? So the AI piece for me, people are like, it's not going to be efficient. Yeah, so the humans aren't efficient either, and they're driving me crazy. I'll test it. There's robots you can buy. Last year it was priced at 150 grand. It's priced at 16 grand. A year from now, it's going to be priced at 1600. These prices are going to keep like what happens when we're not voting for politicians anymore? Like, I'm pretty sure if I give AI my Constitution and Bill of Rights, we don't need any of these people. Like, it's an algorithm. Don't need any of these people. What are they doing? What are all these people doing?
That's an interesting future. Seems like Bitcoin is the...
It's scary. It's scary for most people.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is inevitable. You can't go halfway. It's like having sex halfway, dude. It's not going to happen. Once the Kraken is released, it's either going to impregnate or it's not. It's going to take hold or it's not. And this thing, like, there is no trapping this anymore. She is going to do what she does. It's very humbling, actually. No one can get Bitcoin back. No, not one economist has gotten this. All these power models, all of them are idiots. And I like them. I like these guys. But it seems like the smarter you are, you seem to need some kind of model to prove your thesis. I'm like, why do I need a model to prove my thesis? Why?
You just know you're right.
Well, I might be wrong. I'm most certain that they're wrong also. Like, we're all going to be wrong. That's my point. So it's trading at $64,000 a day. I don't understand. That should be at 100. Okay? But I think it's been grossly undervalued for 15 years.
Well, probably 15 years from now, more and more people are going to figure this out. And I really like your point that you both today and then also last night at dinner about how valuing time more than money, right? And that's really what's most important. You don't want to be spending your time figuring out all the little things or figuring out the water, figuring out $200 lawyers. Yeah. You want to be spending your time on the things that matter with your kids, with your business.
What am I creating, right?
Right.
What did God give you a talent for? It's probably not dealing with accounting. Right? I mean, I mean, the human being is so able, and then we get stuck in doing weird things. Like, I know people that are really smart, they build businesses, and then they drive 3 more miles to save 2 pennies on a gallon of gasoline. I'm like, okay, you're being frugal, but, you know, you got in a wreck. So, what, you know, to me, it's silly. Like, I would look at fiat as energy and or a gallon of gasoline. How far can I go? Like, I fly in private jets, and I have never in 10 years ever, nor will I ever ask how much fuel do we use and what's the bill on fuel. I won't pay the bill. Me and Grant were so like, don't show me the bill. You don't want to know the bill, just want to pay it. But why would anyone worry about what the fuel is going to cost? They spent $60 million on an airplane. Hey, man, can we save some gas? Look, I just need to get to the location. Yeah. I'm not getting anywhere without the fuel. Yeah. So the plane's not worth anything without the fuel. That camera's not worth anything without a battery. I'm sure you figured that out once or twice, right?
Yes.
So if the payment rails go down, Bitcoin should be valuable. The payment rails went down 10 days ago on mass scale.
Crowd strike. Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen again and again and again. And it's either happening because we're having cyber attacks or the plumbing is breaking. This plumbing is very old. We're 40, 50 years old beyond. We should have all our infrastructure redone. The payment rails, Visa, Mastercard, 52 years old. They're using Fortran. It's really antiquated. It's really antiquated. This is all good news. I think it's all good news.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, speaking of time, thank you for giving your time generously.
Luke, appreciate it. Yeah. Appreciate you guys being flexible. I know it was a little crazy this morning.
Yeah. Well, life's a little bit crazy, so we got to adapt. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.